Right, somebody who certainly does not need to fuck off is Stephen Naismith, because Hearts just keep on winning.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. Dundee 2, Hearts 3 for the second time in just a matter of weeks. The Jambos beating Dundee by 3-2 and coming from behind to do it as well. The last time they were 2-0 down and came back to win 3-2. This time they were 1-0 and 2-1 down. But Lawrence Shankland, again, pulling Hearts out of it. They did do it in the last Dundee game, but this one, he's done what he's done a lot this season and was just the main man. But I don't want to make it sound like Hearts are a one-man team, because second half in particular, I was quite impressed with Hearts overall. And it does actually feel like, so all season long, well, after the first month or so, the defence then got sorted. So then that was what Hearts were getting the results off of. Not conceding a lot of goals, keeping clean sheets, Frankie Kent coming in, being the ball-winning defender, the guy who's going to heed it away, he's going to block shots, just do your basic defending stuff, which is something that Hearts had, by their own fault, kind of fallen away a bit. As soon as Craig Halkell got injured, they never replaced him last January with somebody who could do that job. It was just too many defenders, like your Toby Sibbics, like your Kyril, Stephen Kingsley's, who are more football players than they are defenders. Yeah. Kent's just more a pure defender, and he sorted that outside the game. However, early in the campaign, the attack was just, well, they didn't know how to attack. We kept saying it. Like, Rob's a lot more positive Hearts fan than I am, and he was saying that earlier. He's like, this team doesn't know how to attack. And they didn't. They were kind of all over the place. But recently, the goals have been totting up now, and they just look a lot more dangerous in games. They're playing with better tempo, playing with more confidence, and just more, they're getting more bodies forward. I think he's maybe just
Tempo's everything, man. Tempo's everything. When I watch a team, that is the main thing that I was getting. When I've watched Hearts recently, which I've seen them a few times because you've been playing on different days from Hibs, and that, so I managed to see a few games, and you just look a lot more incessant. So when it's normally the second half, normally takes our Hearts a bit of time to get going.
Yeah, it still takes 45 minutes to get fully up to speed.
But when I watch it now, it just starts to look much more incessant, which was always the sort of classic Hearts that I thought. It doesn't necessarily, it's fast paced. You play quickly forward. It's not, you don't play intricate, but you just keep banging on the door, and the team doesn't get a second to rest. And you see this now with the Hearts team in the second half. That's exactly what they're doing, which is much more what Naismith was selling when he first came into the job.
Yeah, and you've seen it with the change of formation as well, and it's not very often that a manager's going to change the shape of his team when things are going well, and things were going well. But Naismith decided, it was halfway through the Dundee game, 3 at the back, he went to the 4-2-3-1. It helped Hearts get back in that game. I didn't think he should have kept it for the Aberdeen match, and I think Aberdeen had their number in the first half due to the change of shape. But it ended up getting the result, and then he sticks with it for this one. So he's changed it now into a more attack team, 4 at the back, 2 wingers, get the wingers running. The first half was a lot about getting the wingers to go kind of beyond their marker and trying to get balls in the box. And there was opportunities to do that. Oda had done it a couple of times, although mainly I think Beck had his number. Forrest a couple of times managed to do it on the other side. But their crosses were just to nowhere. In the second half, it was just a lot better in terms of just getting kind of more support to them. And instead of getting the ball to the byline and kind of cutting it back, to instead just run at their men and try and create stuff that way. And you see that being a huge part of at least 2 of the goals. The Forrest one, which is made by Shankland, where instead of playing it out wide, they kind of play it inside, because Dundee, and they've done it a lot during the game, and it was their downfall was that when Hearts players were running them, unless it was Oda going up against Beck, really, when Hearts players were running them, just get backing off all the time. And when you do that, and you just get somebody, Lawrence Shankland, who's very capable of getting a ball in tight spaces, manoeuvring it so he can get a shot away, or in the case of the first goal, manoeuvring it so then Forrest can take it off his toes and stick it in the far corner. And then obviously the penalty, I mean, I don't really see the controversy at all. It's a fucking shit rule, but his hand's away from his body. His hand it's at a right angle. It's at a 90-degree angle away from his body.
It shouldn't be a penalty, but in
it should be.
Nature.
No,
and I've been saying, but it is. I think they got I didn't think there was a penalty, the one at Easter Road either for St Mirren. I don't know, that might be because he's about a centimetre away.
That one looked like it came off his thigh, and if it did, it shouldn't be a penalty.
Aye, and I didn't think, even if it does go directly his arm, it's so close. It's just so close that the guy doesn't know what's happening. He's trying to balance. I hate the handball round who's been butchered to the point. that you're trying to figure. Every week you're having to figure it out. You don't know, and it changes so often. But that's why we try not to go and talk about it too much, because it's just boring. It's a boring thing. We'll let everyone else talk about it because they do it anyway.
And then you see Shankland as well for the winner, just going does brilliantly to nudge Dodgson out the way. I mean, again, Dodgson, like, you're so rash. Like, just chill the fuck out, man, and you might be a decent defender. And then he gets it, runs at Ashcroft, and then Joe Shaughnessy, instead of going to Lawrence Shankland.
It rubbed all of the rest of them rubbed off on him during that period. Everyone rubbed off on the other shiters, because Shaughnessy's normally, if nothing else,
to mark space, but there's nobody there. Yeah, Shankland's obviously going to shoot.
Aye. And it's a great finish, but that's what I feel sorry for Dundee in the sense that they've managed to build. I'm going to go into Dundee because anyone who listens to this probably knows that I quite like this Dundee team. They've built a good enough squad, and they added to it in January with guys like Main coming in, and they've obviously got with Mellon and Main, so now they've got Bakayoko and Robinson, so they've got. But if they're always playing two up front, it means that they've always got options for there and they can change it round. But it's just the one place that they don't have any depth at all is kind of in defence, and the drop-off between the guys that start in the back three and the backups drops quite considerably with guys like Dodgson coming in there. And it's the one place they can't afford it, and it's costing them every game, because every time I watch Dundee, I thought they're arguably the better team. Nearly every time that I watch them, they're set. I'll put my neck on the line. I've said this. I think they're the best team to watch in the league. I love watching Dundee games. I love watching the way they play. For him to do that with a newly promoted team and bringing lots of players in, obviously, to get going, for them to play such a pleasing style of football, and like they have, and like the key components to that, it all matches up, because Bakayoko as a striker really makes that happen, because the ball always sticks with him. What's one of maybe Craig Anderson or someone in the group chat referred to him as, or Joel maybe, he's like Stephen Fletcher. And I thought that was a really, really good comparison, because he's like early time Stephen Fletcher, because Stephen Fletcher didn't score enough goals in his early days either. But he's like the way that Bakayoko gets everyone else into the game, and all those little sexy one touches off, man, I think he's a tremendous player to watch, and he'd be great to play with even a midfielder. And the balance in that midfield is tremendous. I mean, I've been through this loads of time, but they're just so pleasing on the eye. The goals he scored in this game were really good. And McCowan's goals, that's a lovely goal with a great finish. But yeah, they even though they score goals, they still lack killer instinct in the centre forward area, and they are always going to give you chances at the back. And the fact is, they're at a higher level with good teams, and like you're saying, with guys like Lawrence Shankland, those. If you make that mistake, it's a goal. You know, it's not a question. You make that mistake, you've conceded a goal. There's no two ways about it. And Hearts were able to kill that. But I've seen it with Dundee so many times, and I feel for them, because they should be in a position where Europe's real.
Something when they say at the start of the season, did I say particularly, Dundee really miss Ricky Labby. They miss that steady head on the left of the back three that they've just not got at the moment.
Portals, Shaughnessy and Lammy, it really works. And it's got Matt Portals is really good with the ball at his feet as well. But you see, take the two out, the guys that are coming in, and Ashcroft and Dodgson. And this is the problem when you use a back three. It means you need 6 centre halves, and it's hard to come by.